First up, we have a pretty cool indigenous hero named Arak, Red Hand. He is from Earth 1, he's a demigod, and he was trapped in Europe. How did it happen? I'm so glad you asked. Arak was the only survivor of the Kwatanaka people. He was found by some Vikings when he was in a canoe in the middle of the ocean. The Vikings rescued him, of course, and he was raised among them. When he was found, he was old enough to have already learned some life skills from his old family, but still, he trained with the Vikings and became a really good fighter. He went on a couple of adventures with the Vikings, and then his bad luck struck again, and his entire adopted family perished due to a sea serpent incident. He went on to join the court of the Holy Roman Emperor Charlemagne. He was still able to go on adventures and save people. He returned home to North America, good times all around. He is the son of Hino, who is the thunder god. He has a high number of appearances for being on this list at about 58. His main comic series is Eric, Son of Thunder from the 80s if you want to check it out. Two professors put their minds together and created a bunch of superpowered androids with the intention that they would destroy the Justice League. But Tomorrow Woman was having none of that, went rogue, and ended up joining the Justice League, so it could not have gone worse for those two scientists. Tomorrow Woman is known as Clara Kendall. Because of her android build, she is incredibly strong and fast and literally cannot get tired, just drained of power. She was also wired to be capable of telepathy and telekinesis and voice imitation. Her creators built the first Tomorrow Woman to see if their idea would work, essentially, so when she gained consciousness and sabotaged their plan, they were honestly just happy she fooled the League into thinking she was a real person. Tomorrow Woman ended up getting resurrected in a different universe where she became that universe's Superman. That's when she got the Clara Kendall name. Eventually, her reality was altered and she became human. She continued to be a hero and reporter. In total, we have about 28 appearances of her. From the Impact universe, we have Jaguar. College student Maria lived in Rio de Janeiro but came to study in the US. It runs in her family that some women have the ability to turn into a human jaguar. Lucky. Maria and her aunt both have this ability. Maria keeps the human shape in the transformations, but she gains claws, fangs, muscles, enhanced senses, and a fancy outfit. Her costume is enchanted, so whenever she transforms, it will come find her instantly. It also rarely rips. Jaguar ended up joining the hero group, the Crusaders, and ended up dating fellow hero, the Fly. Impact Universe Maria has about 24 appearances total. We have another human-animal hybrid in the house. Neptune Perkins is a human dolphin with sodium deficiency. So there's a lot happening here. Neptune is obviously an aquatic superhero. He debuted in 1945 in Flash Comics 66, and I don't think he survived Infinite Crisis, RIP Perkins. He has ties to the All-Star Squadron and Young All-Stars. Later in his life, he became a different kind of hero when he joined the Democratic Party and the US Senate for Hawaii. Neptune, he had a problem growing up though. He was lacking salt. A doctor literally told his dad when he was a baby that in order to live, he would need to exist in a salt bath or, as his dad discovered, the ocean. So the family packed up and moved to a houseboat in the Pacific. This is when Neptune learned to swim really fast. He got into undersea exploration, which caused him to meet the All-Star Squadron. It was around that time of his life that he found the holy grail of outfits for him, a suit that would distribute salt water around his body so he wouldn't need to stay so close to salty water all the time. And in total, Neptune has about 50 appearances. The character of Madame Fatale is kind of incredible, a real Mrs. Doubtfire of the DC universe. She never got popular. Well, he never got popular. Madame Fatale is actually Richard Stanton, an actor. Richard's daughter was kidnapped, so Richard went after her. He needed a disguise though, so he went with the last costume he wore on stage, which happened to be an old lady fit. In the world of the comic, Richard was a famous female impersonator. It really worked to his advantage because, personally, I would never expect the old woman next to me to throw me across a room. Richards is a vigilante fighting for good, so he's kind of like Batman. The cross-dressing plotline is unexpected but not unwelcome. Madame Fatale is one of the only, or maybe even the only, cross-dressing hero. While Richard might not have fancy powers, he has the power of theater and acting on his side and disguise, clearly. Madame Fatale has made the successful transfer to the mainstream universe. Now, instead of searching for his daughter, he is looking for his son, and his grandma fit got a serious chic upgrade. Across the board, he has about like 22 to 26 appearances. This Ken's job is annoying. His name is Heckler, and his comics were cancelled too soon. Heckler doesn't actually really have any powers. He is strong and fit with a talent for acrobatics, acrobatics, but that's mainly just him as a person. His superpower is that he is really annoying. He will annoy his opponents until they defeat themselves. He was meant to be like the Bugs Bunny of the superhero world. The Heckler debuted in 1992 for the New Earth stuff, but survived the jump to Prime Earth, debuting there in 2022. Still as annoying as ever. The Heckler is a fun read. It features some of the most unhinged villains I've ever seen. It's also a quick read because it was cancelled before it was fully done. They were cancelled at issue 6, which I hate because they had just started getting into the beginning of like the ending of the story, and then you never find out what happens. The Heckler was part of a hero for hire service some lower ranked heroes put together to make some extra cash. Between the two Hecklers, they have about 17 appearances total. Flying Fox worked with the Heckler at their hero for hire service because he too was an obscure hero that did not get much love. Flying Fox is Canadian, love him already. He is Indigenous and grew up in northern Canada. One day, a bad group of people came by to attack him and his people. Flying Fox did pass away, but then his grandfather revived him and taught him a bunch of mystical art skills so that he could avenge his people. He donned a red fox looking outfit with a cape that was capable of making him fly because it had a flying fox painted on it, and off he went to set things right. He ended up in America and assisted the All-Star Squadron, later joined the Young All-Stars. Flying Fox fought using magic and illusions. He was also able to turn invisible. Flying Fox has more appearances than the Heckler, sitting at about 43 now. Owl Woman has teamed up with the likes of Wonder Woman and the Global Guardians, and yet her character never really picked up steam. She is from America and is also Indigenous. Her real name is Winona Littlebird. She was gifted powers that make her owl-like. She has enhanced senses, like an owl, she can see in the dark. She flies using wind currents, it's very graceful. There was a period of her life where she was under the control of Queen Bee. It wasn't fun, it resulted in the destruction of the Global Guardians headquarters. The only very small upside to the situation was Owl Woman got claws. In total, Littlebird has about 24 appearances. Argus is the name of a decently important agency in the DC universe, which means the hero Argus sometimes gets pushed to the background. Nicholas Kovacs started out as a federal agent, but then he was bitten by an alien parasite, which is surprisingly normal in the world of DC, and that gave him superpowers. Nicholas was part of the New Blood stuff. Nicholas was already a force to be reckoned with without the added powers, but with them, his strength minimum tripled. He also gained the ability to turn invisible, and he had thermal vision. Ever-responsible Nick decided to use his new abilities to fight crime and called himself Argus. His weapons of choice were ceramic nunchucks and a hammer. In total, Argus has about 24 appearances. Jack Lansing has my dream job. It is literally listed on his wiki as roving adventurer. Sign me up. Jack was known in the crime-fighting world as Diamond Jack. He debuted in the year 1940 in Slam Bang Comics 1. Jack met an old magician who gave him the gift of a magic diamond that makes its user physically strong and mentally beyond all ordinary mortals. The old magician told Jack he had to help people with the diamond, and that is how Ordinary Jack became a hero. Remember when it was that simple? The jump from like the beginning of everything to now is so huge. Now it's like, I'm a hero because of this specific traumatic event and I got my powers from a massive cosmic blowout, and it used to just be, well, a magician gave me a special rock and now this Ken's job is hero. Jack and the rock are super powerful. He wears it in a ring for dramatic effect, surely. The diamond can turn bullets to flowers, he turns guns to candy canes, he creates mirages and bright lights. It can also heal major wounds instantly and create weapons or other materials. Usually Jack has to shout some variant of a KZ starting word and then stuff happens. The diamond can also change one thing into another, even people. Overall, Jack seems really powerful with this gem, and I'm kinda surprised he only has 8 appearances. What I think makes Jack really serious is he will off someone. There are no kill rules here. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and make your mark on the comment section down below. Let me know your favorite hero on or off this list. This is Juliana signing off. Bye!